Alrighty, appreciate everybody joining for another Kingdom Chronicles episode. Today we have a good friend of ours in the community and I've gotten to know pretty well this year. Jakey will be joining us today. Jakey, if you want to say hi and give yourself a little intro.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jakey, obviously. I've been playing rock for pretty long time. Since it's about 2018, so we're going on about 7 years.
Damn.
Yeah, been in quite a few kingdoms. Sort of the more memorable ones. I was in 1254. I had an alt account in 1075 when the Smash Squad Wolves were there. Just a little alt, wasn't anything crazy. I had my main was in 1375 when BLN and WLN were there, who ended up going to 1365. I was in 1606 for a KVK. Didn't do much, but I was busy with work, but was there, so it counts. It's cred. And yeah, just been around, been with a lot of people. Started the Cav stable in 2020, I think, which was one of the troop specific discords. It was all about sort of bringing the community together and providing an area for people to learn more about the game and what to do. And I don't know, I'm officially on status. I've just been around forever.
Yeah, I mean, you have even in our KVK right now, 1371, you have alts over there too. What's up with how many alts do you officially have, and why? They just sit dead weight everywhere.
Number to oh god.
And are they all bought or given? Like, where did you accumulate all these accounts?
How many do I have? I had sort of at the peak, it was 2 main accounts.
Okay.
6 alts.
Okay.
And like 60 or 70 farms.
Like
that was sort of like the peak.
Peak Rise of Kingdoms for you.
That was peak Rise of Kingdoms. That was middle of COVID, sitting at home, nothing better to do.
True.
I was in my degree, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So just at home working on homework and shit,
mm-hmm.
and playing Rise of Kingdoms. That was kind of like the vibe.
Peak Rise of Kingdoms for everybody.
Exactly, right. And then it turned into, I still have quite a few alts. I've been trying to get rid of them. Like genuinely, just at this point, giving them away. And I still have the 6 alts, but most of them are just sitting off the map. And that was like the request of my king in 1371.
Greg.
Greg. Yep. Greg Guardo. Great dude.
Good old Greg.
Exactly. He just reached out to me. He said, so it's a DC kingdom. We were like 6 or 7 billion power. I put together the math. I was worth 1.3 billion.
Oh my, Jakey, that's insane.
All of my accounts together, I was worth 1.3 billion power of like the 7 that was in the kingdom. So it was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad.
That's crazy.
So he's like, listen, we got to do something about this. I was like, no worries at all. I'll help you.
That's wild. How did you get to know those boys over there? He has a dog kingdom, man, for a DC.
It's really good. It's really good. As far as getting the accounts, that was just people quitting. People quit. People I started a few of them. People quit. People gave them to me. They were like, listen, I'm done. I don't want to go through the hassle of selling it. Or it's like, just here. And I just, over time, just accumulated them. I ran into a really good buddy who I played with for about 6-7 years. And like he freaking babysat me all the way through this game. He sort of taught me the ropes and everything. And he really like the account I'm playing now, one of his old ones. Like that's like everything I've just been really blessed through sort of my rock journey. And
nice.
And yeah, I've met a lot of really good people and they've treated me well. And I'll always be grateful for that. The 1371, that was the kingdom we were in was kind of falling apart, and the buddy, as I mentioned him now, his name was Materi. A
Hmm.
lot of people will know him. He was a huge OL planner. Um, Top 16 was like that was common for him in Osiris League. If he didn't go top 16,
Damn.
it was a problem. Um,
Jeez.
he's super competitive and planned, and I mean it sucks that he's gone now, but still talk to him on Discord. You know, keep the community alive. But we were in, I think we were in 1561, which was sort of a high A seed. We were bordering Imperium. It was two alliances: Whom, HOOM, and Doom, and it was led by our king was Farmer Tref, Tref. I think he's in 1248 now. Another good guy. We reached a point where the kingdom had sort of run its course. It's just reached a natural end. People wanted to move on,
Yeah.
and I ended up talking to Materi, and he was like, "Listen, we're gonna go to a D seed, and we're just gonna farm and chill and have good KVKs." And we ended up in 1371. I was there for, I want to say, 2 years.
Oh, damn.
I think 2 years, and like
Wow.
really
I
good
didn't know you were
guys.
that
Like
up.
I think it was 2 years. I don't. It felt like it felt like a long time in a good way. Um,
Sure.
and then I had a bunch of friends like Arcana, who was a huge contributor to the troop specific servers that we talked about. He was a moderator, admin, in basically every single one of them. If people had questions about the game, like he loved to just nerd out and talk about the game.
Love that.
Um, Yep. Just if you need, how does this work? How does this mechanic work? How does overraging work? How does whatever? He would just spend hours breaking it down, and he would type freaking diatribes, like just huge messages in Discord about how everything worked. And like, it was like reading a thesis. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Um, but he was already in 1371. He talked to Greg, and Greg was like, "Yeah, like they seem like chill dudes. We'll bring them in." And yeah, we hung out in 1371 for a long time. We went through, I think, two Osiris League seasons. We went top 32 and I think top 16 once.
Dang. I didn't know that.
And it's like it's a D seed. Like we had like 28 mains, which
Wow.
if you're going competitive in Osiris League, 28 mains on the Osiris team. If you're going competitive Osiris League, you want at least 45 because you want that full 30 team plus the 15
Sure.
backups. Like, so no, it's a great group.
That's awesome. So what is what's kind of your current outlook now with where you're at and kind of the journey that you want to take with the game since you've been playing for so long? What kind
I
of keeps you
still
going?
enjoy it. I still enjoy it. Like I still have fun. I love the people. We were sort of talking about this before we started. Like
Hmm.
it's the people that it's always kept me sort of vested. Like I've mentioned a couple names now, but there was just, I mean, the it's funny, like it was a friend in real life who had introduced me to Rise of Kingdoms. He was like, I play this game on my phone. He's like, I know you're a gamer, you should try it out. I downloaded it, and at first I didn't really see the point, and then I started meeting people. I met people in China, in Russia. Like I met people
Yep.
all over the place, and it's like, holy smokes, like this is cool.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this is cool that you can talk to, people internationally. And like, you know the internet's a thing. You've always been able to talk to people internationally,
Sure.
but like
It's just
I
a little
never,
different.
it's like, I don't know, like I'm not on Reddit for 14 hours a day. Like I don't you know what I mean? Like I don't he introduced me to the game, and he actually ended up quitting a few years later, but I just kept logging in and kept playing. And um I guess what keeps me going now, like I said, like I still have fun. um I keep meeting interesting people, and I guess that's really the fun part. um like I know you had Toby on your
Hmm.
last episode. Toby and I met
Yeah, this still
4 months
baffles
ago.
me. Yeah, that's crazy. I
He and
had
I
no
met 4
clue.
months ago. Yeah. Like it's not like we've been playing together for years. It's nothing like that. I met him when I started playing Osiris League for 3092 in the Osiris League that just passed.
Yep.
We got to talking, like he seemed like a chill guy, but never like reached out in DMs. Like we had a couple private conversations in DMs and that kind of stuff, but nothing like, I wouldn't say anything too extensive, like, just chit chat. And then I don't know, he and I just hit it off. Like, and he's a great guy. We sort of have similar views, and that, I guess, is what really keeps me going. Like, I just keep meeting interesting people. Yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you and I have only talked for what? 2 months?
2
3
months,
months?
2-3 months, yeah, roughly.
Now we're on a strife team.
Yeah.
Now, like,
It's the
every
community.
weekend we're shooting the shit for 4 hours. Like,
Yep.
it's and I like to see where things go. That's sort of like a personal thing for me. I like to see things start, and I like to see where things can go, and I like to watch things grow. And I don't think Rise of Kingdoms is finished growing yet. Sort of if you read Facebook a little too much, sometimes it's a bit of a negative outlook. But
I'm not in
try and
those
stay
Facebook
away from
communities.
those.
I see them all the time.
Don't bother.
Don't bother.
I don't get me wrong. I think engagement with the game is what's kept it alive so long. Like,
Sure.
you've had some crazy personalities. Like, I mean, love him or hate him, Chizgul has been around forever.
Yeah, it's crazy. The consistency.
Forever. And he's done a lot for the game. You had Dragothian, you had Fa, you had a Bunny, like Redline. Like, you've had crazy personalities in this game, and again, love him or hate him, the engagement keeps the game alive.
True.
And I think that's what's always driven Rise of Kingdoms, is the fact that it's more of a social thing, with a game on the side. So chat is always open.
So that kind of leads me to, you hinted at it before, but these community servers that you created. So was there anything out there I'm not in those either, transparently, but so you have a community server for each troop type, and are you like the only one out there that has that, or is it the biggest communities? Like, I'm curious, what's that about?
So
and how and why did you make it?
Why did I make it? Okay,
I guess the community wise, but
it started in 1375, which was my second kingdom.
Sure.
So when I started the game, I was in some 1200s, 1300s kingdom. I can't. It was so long ago, I can't remember the number. I was only there for a week. I started my account. I got Seondok. I got my first gold gathering commander. I lost my mind. I was like, holy smokes, I have a legendary commander 2 days into the game.
Crazy.
I'm going to gather like crazy. And then it was a Chinese dominant kingdom, and they decided they wanted to take over the kingdom.
Okay.
So they started zeroing anyone who wasn't part of their community.
Solid.
So it was like, shit, like, we need to pack up and leave. But I was only 1 million power. And so my buddy, my in real life buddy who had introduced me, said, you know what, just make a new account. And so I made a new account in 1375, which was the kingdom they were going to.
Okay.
And that was my sort of first main account, and built it up. Shortly after joining 1375, BLN and WLN joined the kingdom. And Eisen, some people might know that name, Eisen was part of that group, and he had the infantry fortress, which was the troop specific
troop specific what?
Fortress. Like, I didn't know about them either. It was a shock to me. I was always a Cav guy, and Eisen reached out to me, and Azza reached out to me, who was another member of BLN, and said, we should make a Cav one. You're a Cav guy, make a Cav one. And so in the winter of 2021, for 2020, I made the cavalry stable to be a sister Discord with the Infantry's Fortress and the Archer's Den.
Dang. Okay.
And it was like I'd sort of said earlier, like it was all meant just free information. You want to know about the new Cav unit? We'll put a message out about it. You want to know about pairings? Who should I put Attila with? Well, clearly Attila Takeda is the best rally in the game. So
sure.
Attila with Takeda, and then, you know, if you need that extra punch of damage, like you should do this instead. When Chandragupta and Genghis Khan were a good rally for a season. Like it was like, how does that work? And we broke it down. Here's how it works. Here's how skill damage is good. And like it was just a free information. Come, talk, be social, read about the game, learn about the game. It was all about driving community. That was that was always, like I said, it was at the forefront.
So are you still operating it now?
I am still operating it. The troop specific servers have died off.
Okay.
I will say that a little bit. They are still active, but sporadically. Because we've consolidated. We have the King's Codex now, which was put together by Ruz, which is sort of the hub of everything, right? It's
anything you can ask
for. It's all
for. Troops,
it's all bundles, it's everything. But yeah, like I started it to sort of drive the community. I have just over 6,500 members in the Cav stable.
Damn.
The Infantry Fortress has over 8,000.
Wow.
And I'm not sure how many are in the Archer's Den, but I'm sure it's comparable. It's probably about 5,000 to 6,000. Archer's Den is the oldest, so it kind of ironically it died first in terms of activity. And they're all still open. They're all still around. It's just there's not as much activity. I haven't really put anything out in the cavalry stable for quite some time because we have all these content creators now putting out guides, and we have the King's Codex. Like there's no need.
Yeah, there's no need for hubs.
Exactly. Like so, but it was a great experience. I learned Discord there. That was to be honest, like I didn't even know what Discord was. I was always a gamer, but never a PC gamer. I was always sort of console before this.
Sure.
And I when Kingdom started getting competitive, and it was like, we're gonna make a Discord, and we're gonna do voice calls in war, and like this was like the beginning of all of that. Like these, you hear about it now. These 200-person Discord calls during war.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing. And then Kingdom started to get more competitive, and they started making these Kingdom Discords, and I learned how to do Discord. I learned how to make channels and incorporate bots and do permissions and stuff.
So everything you did on that end was all self-taught, because I know you're doing it for our Discord and a couple other people right now, but you learned all those systems and stuff like that on your own?
Yeah.
Where would you suggest people to kind of, for those that want to learn and be better at Discord, what was kind of the pathway you took to, I know obviously probably a lot of trial and error, but you know, by trade, you're not necessarily a Discord software programming type background. How did you go about learning that?
Just interest. If you're interested in anything, Google it.
True.
Like that's always been, how does this work? Google it. This broke, how do I fix it? Google it. Like everything is, it's such a good resource. I was always, you can tell I'm a bit of a nerdy guy. and so like I always loved computers. I loved sort of playing with them and having them and that kind of stuff. It was like, we want to make a cavalry specific troop Discord. It was like, I've always said yes to things before I necessarily knew how to do them. I guess you could call it a character flaw. It's like, Jakey, we need this. We need this this incorporated. I'll just be like, sure, I can make it work.
Go figure it out.
Do I know how to do it? Absolutely not. Am I gonna make it work? You bet your ass. Um, and that was so when I made the Cav stable, YouTube, Google, how do I do this? Every bot that you add into Discord has either a website or a help function. If you do /help um, in your Discord chat where the bot can message, normally like a little pop-up will come up and tell you, like, if you have what's a well-known bot, Me6 for
Yeah,
instance.
Me6.
If you have Me6 in your server and you just do /help and click the Me6 option that comes up, an entire menu will show you, like, what do you want to know, what do you want to set up. Me6 has a website, and there's a bunch of how to or frequently asked questions in that. That was how I learned. I had a common interest, and I just Googled and YouTubed and read and trial and error.
That's awesome. So, kind of the going forward with where you're at now. So you're at 92. You work with Toby. Uh, you guys are moving to New Kingdom after this. What's kind of the excitement there? Are you excited for the next chapter? What does that look like for you?
Uh, I'm always excited for the next chapter. Not so excited for packing the farms up.
You still have 60?
I not 60. I'm down to 40.
Oh, jeez.
But I've migrated so much in my Rise of Kingdoms
Has to be a
career.
pain in the ass, man. I can't stand it.
Oh, it's
The amount of money you have to dish out for passports in this game is crazy.
like I've probably been in 7 kingdoms, and like, and some not, like, it was never like I'll do a KVK and leave, like something happened or I had an alt somewhere or whatever. But like having to pack the farms up and move them and transfer resources or just delete resources, sometimes you just get fed up with transferring and you just
Sure.
delete the darn things. It's so, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a fun new chapter. um it'll be a fun group, I'm sure. It's always a fun group and new people to talk to and sort of learn and get along with. And you know it'll be nice not to, I think Toby mentioned this, it'll be nice not to sort of have to manage everything.
Yeah, not be
you
go
know
back to individual contributor role.
exactly, right? Like, always a team player, but and I always, every community I've ever been in, it's like, do you need Discord help? Like, I'm not a wizard, don't get me wrong. I can't program a bot, but I can, like, my own bot, but I can do enough to sort of get by. And I'm always willing to help people out. That's just the kind of person I am. So, but yeah, like, I'm excited. It'll be a fun new chapter, and like I said, something new. Like I said earlier, I always love to sort of see where things go. Um, do I know how it's going to work out? Nope. But we'll cross the finish line when we get there. Like, it's all part of
Yeah,
the journey.
I was about to say you kind of did that with 92, even with the things that happened there, right? I mean, you still went in there with a good positive attitude and leaving with a good positive attitude and ready for the next step, right? It all depends on how you manage your own feelings on your own, right? Take it how it is and control what you can
Yeah,
control.
yeah, exactly. It's unfortunate, but came to 92 with high hopes, and it was going to be, again, another new exciting chapter. And then all of a sudden things are happening and things are changing, and you adapt and overcome,
Yeah.
onwards and upwards, right? So it's just all part of the game.
Agreed. Well, what's kind of your overall state of the feeling of the game as a whole? I mean, you've been playing for so long, you've been able to see it really transition from, I mean, not necessarily beginning, but I mean, almost beginning. What's kind of your thoughts of the past? I feel like there's been so many changes the past year alone, or within 2025 of the past 8 months, and then we're still pushing out potential more changes for the rest of this year. What's kind of been your favorite changes or least favorite changes so far within the game?
I mean, like, you hit the nail on the head with that one. There's been so many changes.
So many. It's
It's
been
like,
almost hard to keep up with.
I remember Rock before Crystal Tech.
as well.
Um,
Well, I mean, yeah,
and
that's a good point.
and what's crazy is like it's been around for so long, to say that seems crazy.
True.
Like what do you mean Rock without Crystal Tech? Like there's a lot of young players now that don't even understand that. It was funny, I was fighting in a war the other day, and someone I mentioned oh shoot, out of healing helps, because there's that cap on healing helps now.
Yep.
People didn't know that there used to be no cap on that.
It used to be
Um,
unlimited.
it used to be unlimited.
That's wild.
Marauders changed. You used to be able to get days of speed ups. If you did pre KVK Marauders, you used to get a I can't even put a number on it. It's been so long, but it was like Marauders used to be the if you were going to do any PVE event ever, it used to be pre KVK Marauders, and like that's changed. The rewards for that has changed. There has been so many changes. Overall, I feel good. Um, change is necessary. They have to change to stay relevant and
Agreed.
stay new and stay fresh. And if you try to please everyone, you will please no one.
You're never going to be able to do
So
that.
they're going to implement some things that people don't like. It is what it is. They're going to lose some players. As unfortunate as that is, they're going to lose players, but they're going to gain new ones. And I just has the activity dipped since COVID? Yeah, but that's because people went back to work.
Yeah, I think that's just
Um,
a natural byproduct of COVID, right? Going back to work. I mean, I feel like you're going to see that even in today's world. Everything boosted or dipped pretty hard in COVID and then leveled back up to what it was. You know what I mean?
exactly. Like we were all at home. We all
Yeah,
had free
nothing to
time.
do.
I had it. I basically had it open on my monitor.
24/7.
Exactly. I'd sit down at my desk and I'd have Rock open, and I'd
Yep.
be like chaining barbs, or just talking to people or whatever. Like it's it's just I feel good about it. And I know I kind of joked with you about like staying away from the Facebook chats and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, I think engagement with the community, any kind of engagement, is good. You hear about this on YouTube all the time. A dislike helps you as much as a like.
Sure.
It's any kind of engagement helps. um but I see a lot of negativity. Like I really don't like it when people say the game is dying. And I overall, I'm a pretty positive person. um I like to have a positive outlook on things. Like things will work out. Things go wrong, but things will work out. It goes in ebbs and flows, and you just got to sort of ride the wave. Overall, I feel really good. I think some of the better changes they've put in, they're helping free to plays a lot. They are. They can't, like, and we said this. If you try to please everyone, you'll please no one. They can't give every free to play an armament set with all 4 gold inscriptions. Like that would just they can't do that.
No, they
They
can't.
can't, like, as much as I'm sure like they'd love to, they can't do that. It would be bad for the game. You have to let the account naturally progress.
Yep.
So what do? They introduce game modes. They introduce the state forum. So now you have your dispatch, your travel. Like, they've improved rewards from PvE events like Soroli Crisis, great for materials, great for like what is it, like 50 hours of speed ups or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like they are trying to help the free to play player. The armament shop at the courier station. Um, like I think they've done a lot for the smaller player to try and help bring them up in terms of in terms of account help and events and rewards from events. Um, as far as negative changes, uh, hmm, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Everyone has varying opinions.
Well, maybe so.
Uh,
I think just to kind of put it in current status quo with the new leaks that came out with some of the potential changes that they're thinking about having, just so we can kind of stay current status quo. I feel like a lot of this has been a little controversial already within the community when it's coming to. So those that don't know, the first one, it was a meetup in China, right, for the Chinese meetup, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and then they put out a couple slides that had some addressing, I guess, what they thought were some issues. So the piloting issue with the 3 commonly used accounts and some cooldowns along with that, and some secondary verifications. And then there was some, I guess they're focused on burnout and unlimited fighting. So potential new hospital system, cheaper treatments as well, and then some fatigue mechanics when it comes to like the battle frenzy being past 24 hours exceeding 16 hours. There's going to be a cooldown for troops outside the city, and then some more unlimited fighting issues when it's coming to like longer hospitals, or can only be treated after 3 days for players above 150 million in power. And then the last one was trying to read it now. Reduce player burnout, resource speed consumption would be a little bit better. So like time consumption, both sides fight endlessly for long hours. So what are your thoughts around these leaks or this meetup? I don't know where I feel with a lot of it. I'm fine with we were talking about on our own Discord. I'm fine with the restricting player devices. I think 3 might be a little low just by the natural. Some people have an iPad, some people have a phone, and some people have a computer. So like 4 might be better for used devices, but the rest of it, I don't know how I feel at the current status quo. What about you?
Personally, I dislike it. I dislike all of it. And that might be a pretty extreme opinion. But like myself, I have a laptop, I have a PC, I have a phone, I have an iPad. So immediately I'm at 4 devices. Immediately. And like that's just me, right? I'm sure there are people who have 2 phones, or whatever, plus the other devices I named. Like, I immediately don't like restricting players on what they can log in on. I don't like a 14-day cooldown. So if I log in on my PC, my laptop, and my iPad, I have to wait 14 days to log in on my phone. Like,
Crazy.
that just seems so stupid.
Seems absurd.
It's pretty absurd to me. And then what drives this game? You'd ask me sort of like, how do I feel about it? Like Rise of Kingdoms, activity. I keep saying community, but activity has always driven Rise of Kingdoms. My account isn't as good as your account. How do I fix it? How often are you on Rise of Kingdoms? Well, I'm only on for 30 minutes a day. Okay, that's why that's one of the many reasons why your account is not as good as that other guy's, because you're only on for 30 minutes a day.
Sure.
Like, does that suck that you have to be on for hours a day? It can, but that's Rise of Kingdoms. That's the type of game this is. You need to be active. So this, like, limiting fighting, that's just, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like, that's,
it doesn't make sense in terms of you're overcompensating the punishment on players that, like, I'm sure you've done this too, but I've played 16, 24, 26 hours throughout a whole weekend, right? Or taking off of work. You're punishing players that grind by overcompensating for, sure, a pilot issue that I think we can all agree that there is, but you're overcompensating that by punishing probably a larger majority of players that grind, or you're maybe not a larger community of players that grind, but the ones that, I mean, fuck, if you're staying on like I am 24 hours at a time during a zone 5 or a Kingsland with your crew, those are at least your most long-term passionate players that are going to stay around in the community that are trying to build something up, you know what I mean?
Yep. Like, I feel like if they were going to implement something like this, it needs to be an absurd number. Right now, I think the threshold in this mail, like players over 150 million power, they get 3 days of continuous fighting. and those troops go into this new hospital system they're talking about, and that new hospital can only be treated after 3 days. That is, do you know how many players are over 150 million power after 7 years of Rise of Kingdoms being a
It
game?
has to be a decent
Like,
amount.
it's a pretty decent amount. So like that number to me isn't, that power number needs to be higher.
I don't understand what that solves though. You know what I mean? Like that specific one where it's coming with 150 million power and only a certain amount of their troops can be treated after 3 days. Like what is that? I don't exactly understand what that solves besides I mean, just your power doesn't really dictate the continuous fighting. You know what I mean? Like a player who's at 102 can fight just as long as the 150 million player. You don't even know what the gear sets are comparatively. They're not going to be swarming for 24 hours just because they're 150 million power. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's like, I do feel like sort of the developers get a bit lost in the power side of the game. Everything's all power related. Well, if you're over 150 million, you get this, or if you're under 100 million, you get this. They always seem to be a bit clouded by that. But some of the best garrison mains I've ever met with the best gear in the game are under 100 million because they always have dead troops. Like, you can't revolve everything around account power.
Yeah.
Account strength is not dictated by account power.
No, not at all. It
I
can be,
think what they're
but it's
it
not.
can be, but it's not. I think what they're trying to achieve is, or at least what they're assuming is, oh well, the player over 150 million power will be the one who has the pilots, who's on 24/7, who's on
Mm.
for 4 days straight in Zone 5. Like I said, I think they need to pick a ridiculous number. Like if you hit 5 billion kill points, Zone 5, then maybe consider limiting that player's activity. But even then, I don't like it. I don't like limiting activity. Like, the developers try so hard to promote engagement, promote activity. Log into our game daily. There are these daily activities, there's daily bundles, there's daily events. Like, you're promoting daily activity and now you're going to limit daily activity? That is fundamentally flawed in my opinion. Um I I don't agree with it. And like, it's waiting 3 days to heal.
It's crazy.
How big is this new hospital going to be?
Yeah, I was curious. What's your
Like,
thought just on the bit of
it
the original hospital?
is it going to be a 3 million capacity new hospital? So
Are you
if
going to be
I
able to zero anybody with this new hospital? You know what I mean?
right? So if I fill my new hospital with 1 million troops, um what does that mean for deads? What does that mean for kingdoms who
True.
track kingdom contribution?
True.
DKP, that's become a huge thing in many kingdoms. How does this affect that? The well, there's a limit on fighting now. Well, you didn't fight enough. My 150 million power player who needs to have 10 million deads at KVK. I know that's an insane number. Um, why didn't you hit that? Well, the system locked me out of my own account because I had too many kill points in Zone 5. Like, I think it's bad for the game. Anything that goes against more activity, I don't think is good for the game in the long run.
What do you think?
Do I think?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're
I
good.
was curious. So I think Quiet's told me in the past. And I don't know if you know this, just being around a little bit longer. Uh, and I could be wrong here, but I think you said the Chinese servers do, um, like certain time periods for the fighting within KVK, and then close it out, and then like there's always like a live fighting period, and then the whole map kind of freezes. I haven't really been able to look into that. Do you know if that's true, or if you've seen that before, or if it's not true, or you don't know about it? But like, what's your kind of thought there when you're talking about like limiting activity?
I've never seen that, so I won't. I won't take quiet off at the
Yeah.
knees. Off the knees there. I'll let him be right for now until someone disproves him.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know. I've never heard of that. I will say though, this new strife mode, 4 hours of hard objective fights,
Mm-hmm.
like I can get behind it. If they wanted to do, like, I feel like it would help people if there's a time limit, then people know, okay, I only have 6 hours or 12 hours to get my requirements for the zone, my kingdom requirements for the zone. I feel like that would help a lot of people.
And
We
you're
sort of we
pouring
talked
all of your activity in one time frame.
exactly. And you can coordinate, you can plan. I don't. I know you're a busy guy. I'm a busy guy.
Yep.
Like if I can schedule when I need to be active, which you kind of can.
You kind of
When's
can.
pass opening happening? It's
Sure.
happening at 15:35 on next Thursday. You can kind of plan it, but this zone 5 could go for 2 hours because the enemy doesn't build, or it could go for 4 days. Like it's, and I feel like that uncertainty, the casual player, it sort of discourages them from participating. And I know with strife, like, you have to be a bit smart with your troops, but you only have 4 hours to accomplish the objective. So like my troops are going fast, but we've only got 4 hours and then we got to lock this down. And
Yeah.
I feel like that it just makes it more competitive
Oh,
because you have that time constraint.
and everybody's locked in at one time, even if it is a
Like
pilot.
our voice,
Yeah,
the whole team's there.
pretty much.
There isn't a single person not on voice, and you know what? That first hour is intense.
Yep.
But after that, it lightens right up, and we're just having a good time.
Do you
we're
think?
there to?
Do you think like? Well, I think they'll bring Stripe back, but what do you think overall? I mean, it sounds like your overall that's pretty positive and what you'd like to see out of the game. Do you think it'll become more popular or compete with the OL type of competitiveness?
I think they should do kind of like they've done with Ark of Osiris. I think they should do like a golden battlefield and a silver battlefield, or do. They always do divisions, right? There's Group A, Group B, Group C, and so on.
Yep.
And that's great. But I think they should do like a competitive grouping and then a not so competitive grouping so that the smaller player can participate. Right now, there's a huge power cap on
True.
on Strife. You need those, you know, we just said power isn't everything with the fighting and the limiting fighting and everything, and that's true. But in Strife, you need the bigger accounts.
I think
You need the bigger
my.
accounts.
Oh, good.
No, you're.
I think my biggest complaint about Strife so far, I love the activity, I love the fighting, I love the strategy. I think that's been a lot of fun so far, and the continuous swarms, and for like my account, I can take it all the way down to 0 and not worry about it at all. And the bundle was awesome that they gave out. I think the rewards are pretty lackluster when it comes to the top areas, but well, and then especially for players that are so high in power and then have to pay their way out on the dead side of the house. I think one, yes, I like the idea of like a silver league for people who have lower power, different divisions, so more people can play it. But I feel like they need to edit, because if we're looking at the rewards right now, the you're not even
They're not good enough.
They're not good enough.
They're
no.
not good enough.
No, they're not good enough. I mean, you're getting a perm city theme and then a bunch of 60 days in terms of aesthetics, and 20 gold heads and 5,500 gems, which is nice, but I feel like, and of course it's only the first one, but I feel like that should be changed up a little bit.
It needs to.
What's OL rewards again? It's
you get quite a bit.
It's pretty nasty.
You get a permanent legendary city skin.
Yep.
You get a bunch of gold heads, and like on top of that, it's Osiris League. So it's arc matches. So you get rewards like for playing. Like there's match rewards. Like it's not. I think there is. Wow, I might be talking out of my ass on that one. I thought there was. It's like you get rewards for just like there's no like weekly rewards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like there needs to be a weekly reward. There needs to be
yeah, besides the betting. The betting's cool.
I haven't
That function is pretty
I
cool.
haven't
I
yeah,
haven't cashed in
like
on that though. I'm trying to save it all the way through.
that's I just keep rebetting
Yeah.
every time.
Double down.
Exactly. Like it's I agree. I think they need to improve the rewards. I think they need to the bundle was so good.
The bundle was crazy. It was $50 for what, like 80 heads?
Yeah, like that is crazy. So they definitely need to improve that. And what's the yeah, I think golden battlefield, silver battlefield.
I think that'd be a good idea.
So yeah, so that the smaller player, younger player can participate, and it's not so like we've said a couple times that first match, that exhibition match where there was no rewards, like it was just to see how it would all work. That was so much
That was
fun.
awesome.
We had no like there was no expectation. Are we gonna win? Are we not gonna win? And we loved it. Like it was so much fun. I think that needs to keep happening. I think I think that needs to keep happening, and I think like a silver battlefield would help a lot with that. And yeah, I was sorry. I'm also going through my old mails. I was like,
You're
I know
good.
there's individual match rewards for Osiris League. Yes, there is. And so I think that's something else that they could improve on. They need to introduce like individual match rewards for Strife.
That would be
Like
nice.
you think Osiris League is an hour, and yeah, it's competitive.
Yeah,
but
this is 4 hours.
We've been in some Strife matches. We went 6v1 in that first match.
Yep.
We need some individual match rewards, like that, like some gems, some like a gold head, like something. You gotta give us something.
Some credits.
Exactly. And you mentioned it, and I said this to Toby from the start. I don't like the timed stuff. The title of Supreme Sovereign, that's a 60-day. The Troop Effect, that's a 60-day. The Teleport Effect, that's a 60-day. Like a third of the rewards are temporary. So we're in, what round are we in? We're headed into semifinals.
Yep.
So we've been in now. We've been in 2. If we're lucky enough, knock on wood, all that stuff.
Next match is gonna be interesting.
If we're lucky enough, we're gonna go another 2 weeks. So you're gonna do 4 weeks. 16 hours of your time.
With no rewards.
Not even including the planning, of leadership. Like we have a great leadership group. I know you're part of it. We have an awesome leadership group. They've done an amazing job.
Yep.
They've kept it fun, but also competitive. All of that time invested for no rewards until the end, and a third of them are temporary. I think Lilith needs to take a second look at this and make some changes.
Third of them are temporary, and if we lose our next match, so it'd be semifinals. I think it's 4 to 8 would be our position, right? Or am I wrong there? 9 to 16 would be our position.
I think so, yeah.
9 to 16. We would just get 10 heads out of all that. Well, I mean, two 60-day things, and then 10 heads and 2,500 gems, and a couple banners, which I mean, cool, but. Yeah, it's that itch for wanting more, that weekly. I mean, sure, call it instant gratification, but still, I think that is why we play, right? That's why we stay active.
Exactly, and so to sort of tie it back to like what we were saying before, that time limit.
Yep.
That 4-hour time limit. Like you got to get it done.
Yep.
And I think that would be good for KVK. But again, like not 4 hours. Give us 12, and then freeze the map. And then to maybe
I'd be fine with 12-hour increments during KVK. I think that's reasonable.
Like 12 hours, give us a break. Nothing crazy. Give us a couple hours break, like time to sleep, whatever, and then give us another 12.
Yeah.
And then you can plan it, and you can figure all that out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would help with the competitiveness, and I think it would help the smaller player. to figure out, okay, I have 12 hours to get my million deads for this zone. And I think it would help a lot. Because I know matchmaking for some kingdoms is just so difficult.
Yeah,
And
I feel like
they
it's back and forth all the time with matchmaking.
well, and it's funny because the KVK you expect nothing out of is the one that gives you the best fight.
True.
And then
Good
the
point.
one you've been waiting for like 6 months. Oh, we skipped 4 times. We've been
Mm-hmm.
waiting and waiting, and then we got no match found, and we've been waiting, and then you get that one, and it's like, oh, it's like 3 imps. We're gonna go crazy, and either Diplo doesn't go well, or you know someone just came out of a hard KVK and they just want to recover. Like, I know there are some smaller kingdoms now, they're going into Lost Kingdom and telling the entire uh group outright, we're not fighting.
Yeah,
We just came out of
all
a
recovery.
hard KVK. We just want the bigger resource nodes.
I can't stand
Like,
that.
yep. Like, and it's happened. It's happened to me. It sucks because, like, you want to fight, you want to see that KP number go up, and it just there are some times where you run into those
Yeah.
kingdoms that say, like, listen, we just fought 1093 or something. Like, we can't do this again, and they just want to farm
Is about
and build.
what's your take on the and I think one of the biggest turnoffs for me when it comes to Imp, besides the Fort Wall battles, which I think are atrocious, but um, what's your take on the other turnoff for me is just I feel like it's similar matchups, matchup over matchup over matchup, right? You're not getting a real good diversity of matchups. You kind of can predict a little bit about who your matchup's going to be, or you're getting a no match found. Um, I don't. I think that's. I know Toby and I were talking about burnout of the imps and the higher A's, and just recently 3310 now is another one that's disbanding just due to matchups and Diplo. I just. I know you guys are going. I think silver imp now. I don't know if I necessarily like how the imp level matchups have been as of recently, unless you continuously like playing the same. When you're talking, you might be able to kind of identify with this a little bit. When we're talking like football or sports, right? You do end up playing kind of the same teams when it comes to your divisional and your conference and your finals, right? You'll always find the big teams at the top that have the success year over year. But like the regular season, you're always having a little bit of diversity, a little bit of mix up when it comes to the teams that you're playing. And I feel like you just don't get that as much at the imp level versus your low mid A seeds. It's kind of a little bit of a revolving door of diversity when it comes to your matchups. What's kind of your thoughts there?
Exactly. It's the same people. I mean, you said professional sports. Like, you're in your division, you play each of those teams twice per year.
Yep.
Every once in a while you have a road game where you play a guy from a different division,
Yep.
but
At the end of the
you know,
day.
for but at the end of the day, it's the same, 12 teams
Yeah, pretty
in
much.
your division. Like, that's who you play. Like, who are we up against this week? Oh, well, we know how they play. We know what they're up to, and that, are they a run team, pass team, whatever. Um it has become the same thing with Imperiums. You used to get everybody. Like, it was a shotgun as to who you were going to get. You didn't really know, and that kept Diplo so interesting for leadership, because you
Yep.
were talking to a new group every time.
Different
every
region too of the world.
Oh my gosh, and you have a translate bot in your Diplo chat. You're trying, what the
Yep.
hell's he saying?
Yep.
It just made things so interesting. Imperiums got so big, though. Lilith, even Lilith was like, "What do I do with you? Where do I put you?" Um, it's what killed 1254. Um, they were in off season for so long because they'd gotten so big, they just couldn't find a match. And then when they finally did, the KVK was shit. They're just it wasn't the fights weren't there to sort of keep the player base interested, and some senior leadership decided they were going to step away, and eventually the kingdom just disbanded. They went their separate ways, and um no, just it's just sort of how the cookie crumbled, right? But like these Imperium kingdoms have gotten so big, and the spending has gotten so crazy.
Insane.
Who can you match them with, unless you just put the same groups together? And it's funny because we were in 1375, we fought 1365 JST, and we fought 1254, which was TR.
Yep.
And then it's funny you mentioned professional sports, because the thing about them playing each other all the time is you get these rivalries.
Yeah, I think that's a cool part.
It is a cool part. So we had a rivalry with 1254. We had a rivalry with 1365. We fought them, and then 1375 ended up merging with 1365 because our rivalry turned into a friendship. And then 1365 had a massive rivalry with 1254, which never subsided. They always were going at each other. And so it was cool to see those two end up in a similar LK, or in the same LK, because you could see some great fights. But then it was like, oh yeah, it's round 7 of 1254 and 1365. Okay.
Here we go again.
You know what's going to happen. It's going to be a 3-day zone 5. They're going to zero each other, and then like that's okay.
Why trilogies are the only ones that kind of work. After a trilogy, it's usually all right. Let's move on.
You're kicking the dead horse kind of a thing, right?
Yep.
So it'd be, I don't know what Lilith needs to do with their matchmaking to fix it.
Well, I think I feel like
smarter people than me have tried.
I feel like naturally you're seeing a little bit of that change, right? I feel like, I don't know how ear to the ground you are with Rising Star Kingdoms, but I feel like with the breaking up of these top 8 seeds and these imps and these silver imps, and even Cortex taking his kingdom down a notch in terms of, they're still going to be probably pretty high when it comes to their matchups, but I feel like we're going to start seeing them in newer matchups than we've seen in the past, right? Are you still following any Rising Stars, or have anybody on your tracker to kind of be emerging kingdoms in that space? Or if not, do you feel like the next sweet spot that everybody's itching towards is seeing this, what I hope at least is seeing the A seed metrics expand? I feel like the past 12 months, I would say the latter part of 2024 and the beginning of 2025, you saw the seeding with A and B shrink massively. And I would like to see the A seed grow and expand a little bit better and get some really good kingdoms rising in that mid area that can quite honestly challenge a lot of the big dogs, or the top A seeds at minimum, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. And I to your point, like during Light versus Darkness, you needed 2 alliances.
Yeah.
You needed 2 big alliances, so you split your player base up.
Yep.
We need some high spenders over here, we need some high spenders over here, and then the rest will be sort of the grunts of the kingdom. They'll be the fillers and the ones who aren't afraid to take deads. Not so much fighting in field because they can't keep up, but they'll be the one garrisoning and whatever. And then we came into Season of Conquest, and the 2 alliance kingdoms died out.
Mm-hmm.
And now you just have the one super concentrated, everyone's in one alliance, 150 people, spenders, rally leads, garrisons, and your fillers. And so exactly to your point, like I'd love to see the A seed thrive. And it's been funny to watch how the seeding works. In Light versus Darkness, they're sort of bringing it back. Lilith is sort of bringing it back, but in Light versus Darkness, you were seeded. You're a D seed. You're a C seed. And there wasn't really a metric for it. Kingdoms on their own kind of did the math and were like, okay, we're a D seed.
Yep.
And it's been funny to watch sort of where that line has shifted to. Like in 1371, we were a D seed, and we were at the top of the DC table, if we gained as a kingdom like 100 million power, we'd be mid to low C seed. And it's like, how does 100 million power have that much of an impact on where we're at in terms of matchmaking? And so then we would like put some farms offline, drop that 100 million power, and now we're top of the DC bracket again. It's just, it's funny to watch that shift. Personally, I agree. I'd love to see more A seeds go at it, because part of it's personal, but like I see the same names.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I've been around long enough. I just see the same names pop up
That's why I keep asking like
everywhere.
the emerging kingdom questions, because I really want to see this new generation. And again, taking it kind of back to sports, I really want to see that new generation of teams flourish and see these new kings be able to grow and develop something new. And that's why I like how we're sort of seeing the how would you put it? What word would you say? The flow of players spread out. I think that's a good way to kind of describe it, where these players are not all going to, they're not all doing group migrations, right? You're able to still see them, and if they are doing a group migration, they're not necessarily going to another imp, and they might, but you're seeing these kingdoms and these fresh recruits and people leaving these imps going to various places. I mean, even C and B seeds, right? And seeing them grow and or get back to a different level. That's why I'm excited to kind of, that's where I'm trying to try to jump on the headwinds with my kingdom, is kind of get back into that groove of the healthy A seed spot. I think that's going to be a good space for a lot of kingdoms to kind of transition to.
Well, and it's great. A seed is great for matchmaking. It's great for management. Like you're not managing
nearly as much
250 players, like it's
Yep.
It's easier to manage, it's easier to plan, easier to do diplo with that. You're not like, the other thing that stinks about being Imperium is if you're big enough, you get stuck in a camp on your own.
Yeah, true.
Which means
it's exhausting.
Now you need 7 shells, 8 shells. They all have to have credits, which means you have farmers going all the time.
Yep.
You're in the middle of a fight. Okay, we're going to drop this fort here, and then I need these 20 players to go to this shell and build this fort over here. And like, the Imperiums, it's one concentrated alliance, which is great because I feel like it's a tight-knit group. Because they're all in the same alliance. You saw that in the Light and Darkness Kingdoms, where it was 2. There was a bit of a break between the 2 alliances, because in the on season, you could make the coalition, and everyone could come together into like this massive 300 person alliance with the coalition chat and everything. But in the off season, you didn't talk. I was in WLN when I was in 1375. We didn't talk to BLN in the off season. Never. Not once. Not even in the Discord. We didn't really, like, we had our own WLN Discord. BLN had their own BLN Discord. There was the Kingdom Discord. In the off season, Kingdom Discord was dead.
Ugh.
Like, there was a huge fracture there. So it's like, as far as the Imperiums go, it's nice to see one alliance, because that's a tighter knit group.
True.
They're all friends. They all have a common goal. That's great. But it's so much burnout. And we talked about pilots. You want to know why pilots are a thing?
Because of burnout.
Because of burnout. It's 150 people maintaining 7 shells.
Yep.
You know how crazy that is?
I don't think, the burnout, that's a really good point. Not burnout. Well, sorry, burnout and the rise of pilots, I think, really originated and got its feet on the ground coming from that imp level area. I think that's a pretty solid point.
So you don't have 300 active people in your kingdom anymore. You have 150, and each of those 150 has at least 20 farms.
Yep.
How are you going to manage all that? You're gonna have to have people help you. And then the other thing too, we talked about it being dead in off season. There are some kingdoms who do a really good job of like engaging their community in the off season, doing games outside of Rise of Kingdoms to keep that interest there. But You want to know why people pilot? My Lost Kingdom just ended. I'm bored. I want to fight. Hey, Law, you've got a pretty good account, and you've got your Zone 6 coming, or Zone 5 coming up. Can I run your account for you, buddy?
Yep.
Like, like that's.
And I think those
People.
are the okay pilot. And that's why I push my kingdom to do, and that's why I have the pilot access in my kingdom. Is I don't want to push the paid pilot traditional KP type people. I think it's nice to have a kingdom full of other communities and friends and family that can still live and breathe in our Discord and community, and they might still be living somewhere else, but have the trust and backing of me to the people in the kingdom of like, hey, these guys are just dudes that are addicted to fucking fighting. If you're interested in letting them pilot while you need sleep and they're ready to go for it. They're not going to charge you. These are just guys who just want to fight. You know what I mean? And they're still going to listen to markers. They're not going to chase KP. And they're just going to have fun and still join voice call and be part of the community. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's like, again, that engagement, that community,
Yep.
that like just being buddies. Like it's all about
just being buddies.
Being buddies. I think, A seeds are needed. They're sorely needed. And like I agree with you. I think it's pretty tiring seeing the same, like I said earlier, 1365s fighting 2489, or 1093s fighting 1603 or 1606 again. Like it's the same community. And I kind of joked about it earlier, but I've been around long enough. It's fun to see these big giant players that used to be at the top of the imp kingdoms in like a D seed.
Yeah.
It's fun to see that they still want to enjoy the game, they still want to have fun, but they don't want to have that 24/7 activity. They don't want to have to keep up with these players with like 10 pilots so that they have constant activity. Like I think I always had more fun in A seeds than I ever did in Imperiums. Always.
And not making it feel like a second job, even from the leadership perspective. Like, I joked around about it earlier, but like the fort wars are atrocious. And I think that provides a whole different level of stress and frustration to field fighting and leadership when you have to drop 30 fucking forts in a zone 5 fight when you just want to play not casual but play competitive when regarding the field. And I think A seed can provide that type of fighting in a proper way if it expands properly. We need more of these imps to lower, and we need more of these B seeds to be like, okay, well now it's starting to level out. And I think the crystal changes are helping provide that push too, because you're no longer getting these kingdoms that have, well, for example, like 3092, right? 3092 to when we played you guys, you had 45 accounts. All of you guys were pretty much max crystal spenders, and you were able to completely destroy in the field because of that, even if you were facing a kingdom that had more activity than you guys or more player marches just based off of crystal spend. I think with the recent changes of crystal spend, wrapping it all the way back to the free to play changes, low spend changes at Lilith, I think have been massive contributions to the game and getting more players into the game and more active or re-engaging them. I think that's providing finally the comfort for one to letting these imp level players move back down to A and B seed, because it's now more of about a numbers game, the community and culture and activity. And then two, these bully kingdoms, as I would like to call them, that can really bully their way through a paywall are they're still incredibly powerful, but in hindsight have a pretty big nerf going against them when it comes to swarm tech, crystal spend. Everybody has troop capacity now in zone 5. I think a lot of those level sets you're going to see, and we already are seeing it over the next couple months, hopefully kingdoms now having more confidence of moving back into the A seed realm, because they know with the new matchmaking changes of it's not all about power, it's more about activity. And if you have a good player base of players that just grind on crystal tech through the natural grind of the game, you're going to have these A seeds that have a really cool player base become more competitive because they just have people online and people who are more pointed in their kingdom goals, if that makes sense. That's at least what I'm trying to build with 21 is that more of a passionate centric kingdom versus the paywall, if that makes sense. That's kind of
It makes perfect sense. And that's like what's gone from the game is objective fights.
yes,
It's
exactly.
like tech got so crazy, marches got so big, so fast. Like I remember back in KVK 3, KVK 4, whatever, we're going to rally that flag. Okay, let's form up a ball. Push with the rally. Okay, rally was successful. There was no swarm. We just stood on the flag while the rally did its job.
Mm-hmm.
Reinforce the rally, reinforce the rally. Like that was it. Same with garrisons. Pack the garrison, pack the garrison. It used to be an objective based game. Rally that flag, rally that pass, rally that fort. With the growth of Empyrean kingdoms and you know, old KVK tech was what, 40% attack stats? You just want a field fight
Yeah.
because you want to see KP number go up.
Well,
Whereas if you were objective based, the fun in the game, like I keep going back to this strife mode, it's brought back
it
objective fighting.
has. Yep, absolutely.
It's brought back flag rallies,
Yep.
like it's brought that back. Garrison, fill the rally. It's brought all that back, and it's been so fun.
Dude, the
It,
KVK that I was piloting the other day literally was telling their chat like, "Hey, we're dropping these forts in Zone 5 just so we can have, unlimited fighting for the next like 72 hours just for the KP." And I'm just like, "Dude, what happened to winning the zone and pushing and not having these fort walls up just so you can continuously field fight?" It grinds my gears of that's not the type of fighting that I feel like everybody loves. The objective fighting, I think it's a really good way to sum up that type of movement, is getting back into that versus putting down forts and flags just to fight for the next 72 hours just so your pilots can hop on and grind your KP. I think that's a great way
well,
to put it.
and that's what A seeds are for.
Yep.
That's what A seeds are great at.
Mm-hmm.
Because it used to be such a dance. It used to be, okay, we want to win the zone, but we don't want it to be over in 2 hours. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we could drop this fort here, and if we build it, zone's over, we win.
Yep.
What if we do this instead? We can get more fights. Like it used to be such a dance into, okay, if we could do this and win immediately and then it's done and we can save ourselves for Kingsland.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could do this instead. We can get like 5 to 6 hours of good fights and then we can implement this strategy and then we'll win the zone and
Yep.
then it can be over.
Yep.
It used to be such a dance, and then there was like the diplomacy on top of that, and like there was that nice balance of, okay, there's field fights, but there's also a very heavy focus on objectives, building. There used to be dedicated build teams. I know there still are, but you don't hear about it as much. It's kind of just, hey guys, don't forget to build flags. It's an afterthought for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Don't forget we need to build the fort. Don't forget we need to build the flag. Where is everybody? Why aren't we building? Where is everybody? Everyone's up, by the ball marker because they're just KP hungry.
Yeah.
And that's something like A seeds have always been good for. We talked about Imperiums getting too big to the point they're the only ones in the camp. Like there are times like a kingdom like 1093, it'll be them and one D seed kingdom because 1093 is so big. So what kind of dynamic does that make? 1093 rallies and garrisons, the D seed fills the rallies and garrisons. That's it. That's not fun.
No, it's not fun at all.
You need that balance. Like I want to have, it makes it a bit more difficult for diplomacy because you have to pick a camp lead, but I want 5 to 6 kingdoms in my camp because then there's not a problem with time zone. Oh well, shoot, we're all American time zone, so after 5 UTC we're off for 8 hours.
Yeah, it's dead.
Well, you got 3 more kingdoms you can fall back on if you have 6 in your 6 in your camp from a different time zone. They can help pick up the slack.
Yeah.
I think sort of the resurgence of A seeds and staying outside of that Imperium threshold is really good for the game and driving activity and engagement, and but also introducing people to new communities. Like everywhere I've ever been was because we were either a campmate with them at some point in a KVK, or I had a friend who used to be in my kingdom and went there. That was always, how it sort of broke down. I had friends in 2080, and that kingdom started to fall apart, and they ended up going to 1561. And I think, if I recall correctly, we had allied 1561 at some point in a KVK, and it was like, oh, I know people there. Well, I'll go with my friends to there. Like the smaller kingdoms helps introduce people.
Yep, keeps the
to
game alive.
other groups. I know you're trying to grow 21. You're trying to grow it into this, this beautiful A seed that everyone should definitely migrate to. Absolutely everyone. Shout out to 3221.
Appreciate
it. But seriously, you have a great group, and if you're in a camp with 8 other kingdoms and you find sort of that diamond in the rough who's in a D seed and is a great player but doesn't really have that guidance.
Yeah,
but then he sees
exactly.
3221, he sees the leadership, he sees the quality of the player, and he's like, this is what I want from Rise of Kingdoms. Shoot Law DM.
Yep.
Message him, hey, this is what I want. This is where I want to be.
It takes it takes it all back to the reason why we all play, and kind of wrapping it back to like what you started with. It's the community, man. Like I think people forget, especially at the imp level, people forget that this is a game, right? And that's not to undervalue the competitiveness and the communities and the blood, sweat, and tears. Hopefully not too much blood. The blood, sweat, and tears that we put into this game, right? That it is a game by nature, and we all play. And my motto has always been for 21 is we all play this game to escape the lives that we live on a day-to-day basis outside of this, whether it's university, whether it's international stuff, whether it's your job. We all use this as an escape from the reality that we live in. And I think it's important that we continue to remind ourselves that, because we do play it for a game. We play it for the community. We play it for the friendships. We play it for the late night backflagging memories and blasting some music and cussing at each other and having those core memories, right? We don't it shouldn't always be about, and these things are important, but it shouldn't always be about chasing gold chest. It shouldn't always be about chasing, the kingdoms that have the 1 billion power players and stuff like that. I think if the community can bring it back into more of a community centric game and have these really cool A seeds and what I'm trying to build, and then I know other kingdoms have built and maintain, I think overall the game will be in a much better spot in a year, if we can kind of move the direction back into that area.
Absolutely. Like, it's sort of a don't ask, don't get, and the worst thing she can say is no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything I've ever had in this game, everything I've ever gotten, every kingdom I've ever been a part of, is just having that courage to ask for it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I want to join your group. I love your group. I love the vibes. I want to be a part of it. And so, like, if you're thinking about reaching out to somebody, sort of for the audience, if you're in the audience, if you're thinking about reaching out to someone and asking for a spot in a kingdom, just do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Just do it.
And now sometimes, it's sort of the ugly truth, but sometimes you're gonna run into some assholes.
Yeah.
I've reached out to a couple people, and it's been like, oh, haha, your account's so old and you have terrible KP. And it's like, okay, well, now I don't want to be a part of that community. So back up, move on. There's a dozen more out there. Just keep talking to people. Like, I know we've said it pretty consistently. Engage, just be social. Like, that's really what this game's about, is be social. Don't be a dick. and just try to have as much fun as you can.
I agree, man. I agree. Well, I appreciate you joining me for this one. I know we got some cool other episodes that we got in the mix as well that you'll be joining, but appreciate it, man. Anything else that you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I mean, like I just said, like, if you've been thinking about reaching out to that king of the kingdom that you're interested in, just do it. Read the alliance description. If it says message so and so for recruitment, reach out. Like, it's the community has always made my time in Rock so much more enjoyable. Um, we talked about smaller groups and kingdoms. Like, I was a group of 5. We talked about how, like, sort of the kingdom group moves, but then inside that kingdom group there's smaller clusters of people. I always had 4 to 5 people I sort of hitched my wagon to, and if you have one of those, well, I'd say you're pretty lucky, because my group was pretty awesome. They've all moved on now, and I'm the only one hanging about, but you find new people.
You do.
I found Toby, I found Law, I found Quiet, like I found you guys, and it's sort of a new breath of life into Rock and my time. So
Keeps the
just
fire
have,
alive.
exactly, have a good time. Just
Absolutely.
have fun.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining in today.